Hello, good evening and a warm welcome to the last Saturday night programme in the present series of Scotsport. Since we came on the air way back in August, we've plotted faithfully the story of the Premier League. And tonight, the last chapter richly fulfills the promise of the long winter months. As we bring you the story of today's unique photo-finish finale, there's all the action and drama from a packed Dens Park and the derby game between Dundee and Dundee United.
Hegarty's free kick. Dodds couldn't make it. Vannen's got it. There's Davy Dodds, and that's goal number 3. Now the referee waiting play on.
And from Ibrox, a 6-goal next hour, so let's get straight to Dens Park, and the perfect setting for a match which could determine the outcome of the championship. Fierce local rivals battling it out, with United knowing that victory would bring the glittering prize. Jock Brown is our commentator, and we join him amidst the bedlam of the last few minutes just before kick-off.
And happily for the occasion, Dundee are at full strength with Ian McDonald fit again after missing the match against St Mirren midweek with an ankle injury. And alongside him in the key role at centre-back will be one of Dundee's most promising players, Jim Smith. He celebrates his 22nd birthday today by trying to cope with the likes of Paul Sturrock and Davy Dodds. United too have all their top men available, with Richard Gough restored to the defence. And they also have the bonus of Eamon Bannon back to the form, which earned him an international cap against Belgium in 1979 and prompted Jim McLean to pay a club record transfer fee of $165,000 to buy him from Chelsea the same year. The atmosphere within the stadium is electric as Dundee start the match. Each side for the moment playing towards their own supporters. The United supporters congregated behind Colin Kelly in the Dundee goal for the moment. Conditions may be a little bit difficult. The heavy rainfall which has affected Dundee makes the surface very wet indeed, and that might be a significant factor before the day is over. It is a joy to be inside Dens Park with this capacity crowd. And while Dundee may be in something of a supporting role this afternoon, they do have the consolation of a very substantial gate. Cammy Fraser's lofted pass forward, being chased by Ian Ferguson. Now Sturrock. Bannon playing it back for Sturrock. Milne playing on the right flank for the moment for United. And his direct opponent will be Stuart McKimmie. Well, past the header, Neri is playing in midfield, right in the middle of midfield for United. Gough and Hegarty are the twin centre halves. Now passing Stark at fullback. Here's Neri. Now Sturrock. Milne coming inside McKimmie. Dodds to the left. Absolutely unbelievable. 4 minutes gone. Ralph Milne conjures up a masterly opening goal. And no wonder he's getting the applause from his teammates and from the huge United support. Developed from midfield, Neri to Sturrock. Ralph Milne checked inside Stuart McKimmie, took the ball forward, he had men in the left, men on the right, saw Kelly off his line, and the chip shot left the keeper helpless. This is Glennie. Saying for well tackled by Gough initially, and Bannon takes over. Stark immediately providing support deep on the right. Norman Stark combining on the right, now Sturrock. Brought down from behind by Ian McDonald, is clearly upset about the decision. But this is a promising situation for United to try to exploit. And the dead ball expert is Eamon Bannon, hence the diligence being shown by Colin Kelly. So Bannon with a free kick. Far post ball beyond everyone, including Richard Gough. Willicock would also tackle very sharply, but decision again goes to United. Bannon with the throw. Sturrock the target, leaving it to Neri. Neri goes down, the penalty is given. protest towards the referee. 10 minutes on the clock, United get the perfect opportunity to make it 2. The Dundee players crowding around the referee, but really I think the replay may well show that he was absolutely right. The throw-in coming in, Sturrock left it for Neri, tried to take the Dundee defence on the burst. He was brought down as he went through, and that's why the penalty was given. So once the referee sorts out the dissenting Dundee players, it'll be Eamon Bannon to take the penalty. Bobby Glennie's protests have been too vehement. So a long wait now for Eamon Bannon. The yellow card is shown to Bobby Glennie. Colin Kelly now becomes a vitally important man in that Dundee goal. Eamon Bannon now for United. Penalty expert. He's only missed once this season. He's scored 5 out of 6. The miss was against Rangers just over a month ago. So Kelly facing Eamon Bannon. The referee still not satisfied that the goalkeeper is on his line and standing still. So what a warning from referee George Smith. Very long time before this kick will be taken. Here's Bannon. He saved it the first time, but Bannon makes it on the rebound. United go 2 in front, 11 minutes on the clock. And Bannon really was very fortunate. The penalty lacked a bit of his normal conviction. Kelly got down to it very rapidly indeed. A good save it was. And Bannon kept his head and knocked in the rebound. They gave him his 13th goal of the season. Haggerty easing it back to McAlpine. David Dodds making that run away from Smith to find space. Bannon now to start. Kelly in lots of trouble. Well, the ball must have swerved in flight. He's pointing to the sun, which clearly caused them problems. And Sturrock almost got a bonus there. He's got a corner kick. That, honestly, was perhaps more than the cross deserved. Bannon sliding it in. Kelly beating it away from Goff. Sinclair holding it up for Dundee, waiting for support to arrive. And Ian Ferguson. Good play from Ferguson. Goff has come across to meet him. Outside of the right foot, trying to slant the ball across, but too long for Eric Sinclair. Sturrock taking the ball away from MacDonald. Dodds was giving chase, but Kelly was always the winner of that little race. Jim Smith. Ferguson back to Sinclair. Haggerty showing lots of bite. Coming from the back. Stopped by Glennie. Now Ian Ferguson again has a chance to send over a testing cross. And Stark very wisely playing the ball behind. He didn't chance the ball reaching Hamish McAlpine with the Dundee forwards racing in. Ian MacDonald is up. Clean, positive header, but McAlpine right in line. Kirkwood's got away from Stephen for the moment. Just beyond Sturrock. Sinclair did well with a high ball. Now Albert Kidd. Back to Ferguson. Aiming for Sinclair in the box. Van Gogh had to look very lively indeed as Kidd closed in on him. He still remained calm. Turning it behind under a lot of pressure. Would have been so easy to make a drastic mistake in that situation. And in fact, the free kick has been given for an offside decision. Here's Bannon. Too many passes from the Dundee players going astray, giving possession away much too easily, I'm sure, for the liking of their manager Donald Mackay. Got his header, he adjusted into the right position in front of Eric Sinclair, who was guilty of that foul. Hegarty's free kick. Dodds couldn't make it. Bannon's got it. There's Davy Dodds, but that's goal number 3. No, the referee waving play on. The linesman didn't give it. Well, that must have been very close indeed. The ball carried forward from the free kick. Dodds couldn't reach it with the head, but Bannon caught it, played it back into Dodds, and that looked as though it hit the underside of the bar and went in. But the linesman, in the ideal position, said no. Well, here's Fraser now for Dundee. Sinclair coming in, it was watched carefully by Kirkwood, and Ferguson pulls one back. Beautiful goal from Ian Ferguson. And now it's the Dundee supporters' turn to celebrate, and the match is back in the melting pot. 29th minute. It was the cross on the right from Cammy Fraser which caused the problems. It was half-headed clear by Kirkwood down to that lethal right foot of Ian Ferguson. And McAlpine hadn't done earthly. There's Sinclair. McDonald. Stark now to Kirkwood, and McKimmie quickly into the tackle. United get the problem. McKimmie's upset about that. Albert Kidd also protesting. We're now into time added on for stoppages in the first half. Supporters booing the referee's decision, which will affect George Smith not one little bit. McKimmie got his head to it as Sturrock made the run. With a stalemate now on the near side of the field. Let's see if Sturrock can change things. No, the half-time whistle goes. The teams depart after a sizzling first half. Great entertainment. United getting off to the best possible start when Ralph Milne scored that picture goal in just 4 minutes to give them the lead. Then Eamon Bannon made it 2 when he knocked in the rebound after his penalty was brilliantly saved by Colin Kelly. United appeared to be costing until Ian Ferguson drove home that goal just on the half hour to make it the slenderest of leads at half time. So the teams depart, the match still wide open. It's Dundee 1, Dundee United 2. So United start perhaps the most important 45 minutes in the long history. 45 minutes away from their first ever Scottish League Championship. 21 years since the championship came to Dundee, and that time it came to Dens Park. And the people with the long memories may recall that Dundee lineup: Liney, Hamilton, Cox, Ethier and Wishart, Smith, Penman, Curtin, Rosine and Robertson. But it's now the United players who've caught the attention as Stark plays it across. Dodds challenging. There's Cammy Fraser. Bannon is penalised, clashing with Cammy Fraser. Well, there's no possibility whatsoever of Dundee making things easy for United. Plenty of tension out there in the field. There's no way in the world, of course, that Dundee will lie down to United in these circumstances. Such is the intense rivalry in the city. Ball carries out, and that'll be a throw this time to United and Morris Malpass. No question at all that the first half over the piece was dominated by United. That early goal from Ralph Milne settling them down into a very composed, confident brand of football which Dundee couldn't match. But things did turn a little when Dundee got the goal back, and that's what makes this second half still so fascinating. Cammy Fraser taking the throw, a very important player for Dundee in the first half. Dodds is brought down. Straight up the field, not hanging about to discuss it with any of the Dundee players. Ian Ferguson was the culprit. Well, Bannon might have been penalised for the challenge on Fraser. The referee didn't think it was appropriate, so it's Sturrock on the break on the left. Smith, careful with the pass back. Kirkwood to Hegarty. Kirkwood immediately hangs back to cover his skipper. So did David Neary, so it's Neary who's in the back four for the moment. Oh, that's great play from Milne. He appeared to be impeded in his run towards the red ball line, but his determination and pace carried him to the ball. Sinclair's head flick. Malpass back to his goalkeeper. There's Goff. Good play from Sturrock. He's away from Glennie. Smith coming across. Bannon's inside. Still Paul Sturrock. Got it beyond the keeper. That's a corner kick. Great play from Sturrock. Very positive running at the Dundee defence, almost gained its reward. Took him on the outside, using Bannon the decoy, and Kelly going down at his feet. Ferguson trying to get outside Morris Malpass. Free kick, I think, has been given, pushing on Ferguson by Malpass. So this is very dangerous for Dundee United. Cammy Fraser is trying to make sure the wall is back, the required 10 yards. Everyone back now for United. Fraser lofting it in. It's a fine head, it's Albert Kidd. Well, that certainly wasn't far away. United moving dangerously. Delightful little chip across from Cammy Fraser. The header back towards the near post. Found Albert Kidd. He couldn't get high enough to nod the ball into the bar. And that's a life for Dundee United. Bannon being challenged by Fraser. Referee is checking his watch all the time. The whistle will go at any second. And there it is! Dundee United are the Scottish League champions. There's the man who created it all. 13 years at Tannadice. Jim McLean departs. Still doesn't manage to smile, but you can be sure there's contentment in his heart. Dundee United do not have to wait for any news from elsewhere in the country. It's the second occasion for celebration in the North East in a matter of days. United have won the ultimate domestic honour for the first time in their history, and how their supporters are enjoying it. One or two on the field. Police are also there. The players now enjoying the moment which they obviously were scared to believe could ever happen.
But happen it did. And after the match, Graham Stewart managed to get a word with a man who'll be making the headlines in tomorrow's papers, Jim McLean.
Go. Jim McLean, many congratulations. Even a man like yourself will permit a smile now, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just about, we're obviously very pleased. Thanks very much.
Did you feel at any stage during the game that things were beginning to slip away a wee bit?
To be completely honest, I wasn't, as usual, not satisfied with the performance here today. But there's no way that we can criticise them. At the end of the day, we did the job. Players most certainly didn't handle the tension today as well as they have done in the previous games. But we've won the title, that's the main thing.
Can you put into words what it means for Dundee United to win the league?
I know that the people that stand in this spot are the same thing every year, and we repeat over and over again that we just really, it hasn't sunk in. And in the end of the match, for the first time in 12 and a half years, I couldn't even say a word to the players. I just went over and shook their hands and congratulated them, because we're very, very pleased, but it probably will sink in sometime later tonight.
What are the celebration plans for the club?
Well, at the moment we're going down to Tannadice for a private celebration with the players and directors and friends, and then later tonight there's a Player of the Year dance from the supporters, and all the players will be appearing there with myself. But after that, tomorrow we'll have to ask these players to go back on the park at Forfar for a game. And there is, if I could mention here, a civic reception for the players in the City Square at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. We will be travelling by open deck bus through a short distance through the town to the City Square at 6 o'clock tomorrow night.
I'm sure you'd want to pay tribute as well to the fans who've supported you so well in this run-in.
Well, unfortunately, first of all, I've got to pay tribute to the way Dundee played today. I thought they played exceptionally well with no tension on their play. But to me, the people that matter are the players, and secondly, the supporters. And I honestly believe that nowhere in Scotland does anybody grudge Dundee United in winning it. Our players have been very, very good over the season. Aberdeen have been very good, Celtic have been very good, but I'm sure there are very few people in Scotland grudge these players the title. I hope not.
Certainly not. Jim, just looking back over recent weeks, do you feel that that was a key point, that 3-2 victory at Parkhead, even with 10 men?
Well, that was vital, but we can look back. We got beat with Bohemians. It was great for us going out to Bohemians, in as much as we played Aberdeen on a Saturday, and it meant we had nothing less if we didn't win. They went there, they won. They went to Paisley and they won. They went to Parkhead and they won. The only block was the time they went to Parkhead and lost 2-0. The players have won it the hard way. I hope if we can possibly win it next year, we'll make it a wee bit easier than we did this year.
And the European Cup to think about.
Yes, you know, I never even thought about that until you mentioned it now, but obviously that'll be far more difficult than the UEFA Cup, but we're fairly experienced in the UEFA Cup and it should help us.
Jim McLean.
Graham Stewart with a delighted Dundee United manager Jim McLean. Congratulations from all of us to the Tannadice side for the determined way they stayed in the championship race and for the fine manner in which they won the flag. Next stop, as Jim McLean says, for them, the European Cup. Points adrift from Celtic at the top of the Premier League. The timing of their run to snatch the flag from the Parkhead side would, I'm sure, get the accolade of approval from Willie Carson. Our closing pictures tell the story of the greatest day in the club's history. Jim McLean and his players rightly deserve the acclaim of their fans and the congratulations from all of us. Don't forget, our Cup Final programme begins next Saturday at 11:45. Until then, good night.